Employment. Federal aid adds $300 to that, but that expires next Sunday. And the worry is that even with the quick passage of the stimulus bill, benefits still may lapse.
And how quickly is it going to be implemented? And is there going to be a lapse of benefits? And the consensus is that something is going to go wrong, even if the bill is signed into law.
The direct deposit dates are here. Lawmakers have finally come to an agreement on future relief packages, and these new plans will include millions of bonus tax refund checks for Americans that have been impacted by the crisis. Massachusetts residents can expect to receive a one-time check this week. Billions of dollars more in excess revenue will be going towards new state stimulus. Now here's some breaking news. The Massachusetts governor has also announced that the first checks and direct deposits from a nearly $3 billion pot of excess tax revenue will head back to taxpayers starting on Tuesday, when the calendar flips to November. A spokesperson for the executive order and Office of Administration and Finance said the money will head out the door under the voter-approved tax cap law known as Chapter 62F, which taxpayers triggered for the first time since '87 by delivering massive amounts of taxes. About 3 million taxpayers will receive a refund in the form of a mail check or a direct deposit worth about 14% of what they owed in the state personal income tax, all in 2021. The administration plans to distribute the refunds on a rolling basis through December 15th. The administration had previously estimated refunds of about 13% of income tax liabilities. Taxpayers who owed state personal income tax last year and already filed their 2021 return are eligible and don't need to take any additional steps to receive the refunds. And also, everybody, let's not forget about this. Virginia is sending rebate payments in the order it receives tax refunds. So, if you filed your Virginia tax return by September 5th and are eligible for a September 2022 Virginia stimulus tax rebate, your rebate should be sent by the middle of this month. Many residents can also expect to receive the payments this week. Taxpayers will receive a check in the mail, and others will receive the Virginia tax rebate through direct deposit, all in their bank account. But according to tax experts, if you've moved since last year, the check may have been forwarded to your new address. And if Virginia doesn't have your banking information on file, you'll receive a paper check in the mail. And also, friends, more than 72 million American households will pay no federal income taxes this year. It makes a large decline. According to new analysis from the Tax Policy Center, an estimated 72.5 million households will pay no federal income taxes for the tax year 2022. The share marks a substantial decline from the 59% who paid no federal income taxes in 2020 and from the 56% in 2021. Both years were dominated by crisis-related shutdowns and restrictions. The number of Americans who pay no federal income taxes remain a hot political issue, with many Republicans arguing that more Americans should pay federal income taxes, and Democrats often argue that many of the rich don't pay taxes. So now, people are saying that it's more likely to owe no federal income taxes when they're unemployed or seeing dramatic reductions in income. The standard deduction, which effectively doubled after the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, is now at $25,000 for married couples and $12,950 for single fathers. Anyone earning less than these amounts wouldn't even owe federal income taxes. Increases in the child tax credit and the earned income tax credit, for example, also boosted the number of non-payers, along with other government stimulus payments, which were a form of the tax credit. Now, with unemployment at or near record lows, and many of the credits and government payments ending, the number of Americans who owe some form of federal income tax will rise closer to its historical norms of around 60%. If unemployment rises and the economy falls into a deep recession, the number of federal non-payers could rise again. On the other hand, of 2025, when individual provisions of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act are set to expire, the number of non-payers could actually suddenly decline. Folks, hopefully President Biden could do something about this and send out stimulus payments.
Now, it should come no surprise that Republicans want to cut taxes for the wealthy and big corporations, because that's their solution to everything. When inflation's low, they say, let's cut taxes for the wealthy. If unemployment's high, let's cut taxes. When it's the reverse, they want to cut taxes on the wealthy. If there was an asteroid that headed towards Earth, they'd all get in a room and say, you know what we need? Tax cuts for the rich. I mean, it's nice if you got one answer to every economic problem. We got some students here. You remember when... Maybe you're more responsible than me. There were some times when I was in school where I did not study. And you go in and let's say there's a math test, you didn't study for it. It'd be nice if you could just write down the same answer for every question.
Now, failing to include a SALT break expansion in the long-stalled legislation is a risky portion for the Democrats, whose slim control of both chambers leaves little room for defections. Democrats representing high-tax districts have already pledged to withhold support for a tax increase bill that doesn't address SALT. Manchin and Schumer have yet to release a comprehensive plan with the specifics about new spending on climate and health, offset by tax increases and prescription savings. Schumer has said he wants to pass the bill this summer. Raising the $10,000 SALT cap has been a key priority for Senator Bob Menendez, a New Jersey Democrat, as well as several House members. Democrats cannot lose any votes in the Senate. Manchin and Schumer have been engaged in exclusive talks with many representatives. And this SALT deduction is politically difficult for many Democrats, and some progressives dislike making SALT more generous because the vast majority of the benefits go to high-income earners. I have some bad news, everybody, from lawmakers in Congress on President Biden's stimulus checks. Joe Manchin has revealed the new changes that he wants to be made to the legislation before it is signed to law. Manchin told reporters he's not sure if he can agree to anything beyond the prescription reform component of the bill, which has already been sent to the Senate Parliamentarian Office and has the support of all 50 in the Democratic caucus. Now, Manchin has said, "We know what we can pass is basically the prescription pricing on Medicare. Is there anything more we can do? I don't know, but I'm very cautious about this." And he also said the deficit reduction is going to be 50% of the new revenue gained from prescription savings and tax reforms. This is such as a 3.8% tax on wealthy individuals and couples who earn more than $400,000 and $500,000 comes along. He said the latest legislation and inflation report has shown prices have increased by 9.1% compared to a year ago, means negotiators are going to have to slow down and proceed more cautiously on putting together the budget bill. Manchin did not roll out a provision to continue subsidies of health insurance plans provided under the Affordable Care Act, explained that whether he could agree to extend the subsidies would depend on how they are drafted and paid for. He told reporters, "It depends on if we can look at things and find a pathway forward that is not inflammatory. Inflation has been the Federal Reserve's enemy number one in 2022, and the Federal Reserve open market has been made aggressive changes to the U.S. monetary policy to bring inflation down to its long-term target of around 2%. Also, according to Yahoo News, just 18% of Americans say President Biden should run for re-election in 2024. That is the lowest number to date. Nearly 64 respondents say he should bow out. And for the first time, Democrats now say Biden should pass on a second term rather than pursue one. The survey of adults in the United States represents the starkest evidence to date of the president's deteriorating position with voters.
Their digital is 48% of their banking. One of the things, they continue to reduce the expense rate at the branches. They have fewer branches, but they're doing more. Look, is it exciting?
No.
And when I go over with Brian, all Brian really wants to talk about is the consumer is just very strong.